Hello, contractors, and welcome to Toolbox for the Trades. My name is Jackie Abel, and today I spoke with Gilbert and Victor Ayala, the president and GM of 5 or Free Electrical Services in Sacramento and the Bay Area. We spoke about the power of second chances and how the Ayala brothers aim to improve the lives of their team members and their families. I'll be honest, this episode is a little different than our regular content, but I'm confident you'll find Gilbert and Victor's insight as impactful as I did. Enjoy. Gilbert and Victor Ayala, you guys are the president and the GM of 5 or Free Electrical Solutions in the Sacramento and San Francisco Bay Area. Today, we're going to be talking about the power of second chances and setting up a company for success. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you for having us.
So just a little background, guys. 2 Pantheons ago, Gilbert and his brother, Victor, they approached me at Pantheon, ServiceTitan's user conference, and I absolutely loved chatting with them. I think they've got a great story, and I'm just so happy that we're making this happen in real time. We're going to kick the show off with an icebreaker like I love to do. So I'm going to ask, and Victor, I think I'm going to give this one to you first. What song, if any, would be the soundtrack of your life?
It's probably one that not too many people have heard of so much. It's from an artist by the name of Zach Williams, and the name of it is Far Too Good to a Man Like Me. I'm just very grateful for everything that's gone on in my life, and even some of the struggles and the hardships that have happened through our life. If they didn't happen exactly the way they did, then I wouldn't be the man that I am today. Very humbling to think about where I'm at nowadays. So I'm very thankful for it. So that would be my song. Zach Williams, Far Too Good for a Man Like Me.
What a beautiful answer. All right, Gil, same one. Are you going to follow it up with something as meaningful?
So I'm a sucker for what they would call baby making music. So good old Brian McKnight's Boys to Men was awesome at Pantheon. So yeah, I think over the years, working this business and stuff is just always keeping my mind focused on why I leave the house every day for both my wife and my children, and just the support that I have with her, just really wanting to be the man that, she deserves. So.
Awesome. So you guys are brothers, obviously. Gil, you are the president of 5 or Free, and Victor, you are the GM. The GM, by the way, who is operating in Tennessee, even though you guys are based in the Bay Area, which is very, very cool.
Shout out to ServiceTitan for making that happen.
I know I set that up for you, and you just knocked it down. Way to go, Gil. So I know that this whole story really started, or the inception of 5 or Free, that was really your thing, Gil. So I would love if you could tell us how you became president of 5 or Free Electrical Solutions, and start with how you got into the trades to begin with.
It's not actually something that I came up with. I actually had a business partner that I started with. His name is Alexis Munoz, and actually he's out in Tennessee now. But I started with him, and it's been fortunate, and it's also just another aspect to keep me from floating away, is just knowing that the brand in and of itself wasn't my idea. Basically, between him and his dad, what they did was they put on an Excel spreadsheet of all the reasons why service companies get 1-star reviews. And so they tallied up all the reasons why companies would get 1-star reviews. And then what they did was they came up with the top 5 reasons for the 1-star reviews and made those into promises. And so that's where the brand came 5 or Free. They actually started it with a window cleaning company out here in the San Francisco Bay Area, which was successful. And I joined with him, threw in some sales systems with him, and turned his average ticket from $400 to maybe $1,000 to $1,200. And
nice.
We ended up partnering together and starting this thing together. And then that was pretty much that. We ended up parting ways probably about 3 years into the business. And I've been pretty much running it ever since. So
nice. So when did you make the transition to president, running it on your own?
That was in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, we ended up partying, and I just ended up taking the wheel and going with it and growing it from, at that point, I think we were probably about a year in with ServiceTitan. And I think at that point we were probably at about 1.5 mil. So ServiceTitan's definitely helped us grow. And I think overall, just with losing a partner and going from that point till now, I wouldn't have been able to do it without having the type of processes that are just set in stone with ServiceTitan. So that's just definitely helped us out a lot.
That's awesome. And for the record, you do not have to talk about, you don't have to say such nice things about ServiceTitan. That's what this podcast is for, hearing your story. But I appreciate all of the ServiceTitan love you're giving us.
I love ServiceTitan.
Now, so window cleaning, I didn't realize that at first. How did electrical get added to the mix?
I was originally an electrician, and I was the top salesman with a company out here with a great man. His name's Scott Mamola. He is the owner of Maine Electric, and kudos to him. He just got bought out by Service Champions North with Kevin Comerford. I learned a lot from him, and basically I was a top salesman there for 2012, 2013, and then we ended up having to part ways at that point. And I went on my entrepreneurial track run from that point, and I opened up a chimney sweep because that's what I did with my brother Vic a long time ago. So I just wanted to see if the things that I learned within the service industry, that if I can implement the same processes into a different industry, that they would work. And they did. The chimney sweep business, it was called King Bristle. And within 3 months, I think we did about $80,000 in revenue. The first start of it, I was able to hire like 2 or 3 guys helping me out with that. And so I ended up merging King Bristle, and at the time, Alexis Munoz, he was the owner of Fiverr Free Window Cleaning. So he was helping me launch the King Bristle as I was helping him with his business. And so we just seen that we worked well together. And so we ended up just joining forces with our chimney sweep and dryer vent cleaning plus the window cleaning. And that was just services that we offered all together. And then I just figured, well, why don't I just jump back into the electrical? It was always a license thing, the contractor's license. I ended up finding out that there was an option to get a license without having to take the test, which is called an RMO here in California. So I took that option and brought on an RMO. We started a corporation. And then the stipulations for that was just basically the RMO that was starting out with us was there until I was able to take the test, which I took the test probably within 2 years of the corporation starting. I passed the first time. And so that's how that kind of started. So
initially, we started a chimney sweep business, and I don't move fast enough for this guy. This guy likes to move quicker. And so he leaves the business that we started to go start his own competing. So he's competing against his older brother, trying to take my market share over here. And then this guy, since I'm the one, I'm a certified chimney technician. I got, I took all the classes for all the mortar and the different types of this and that, whatever. And so this guy who was starting with me, all of a sudden he's on roofs and stuff calling me, hey, how do we fix this? Hey, how do we do that? Because he's such a go-getter that he just wants to go get it before actually, understanding, all the little nuances and stuff. So I'm helping my competitor over here. I'm on one roof, and this guy who's supposed to be on the same roof with me is on another one. And so, yeah, go ahead. Continue, Gil. Continue. Yeah. That's my loving brother over there. Yeah. Go.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so first off, I just want you guys to know I had no idea we had chimney sweep and window cleaning in the mix here with Fiverr Free Electrical Services. Also, Gil, I am somewhat not surprised that you started a competing business because it was not going as fast as you wanted it to. Not that we know each other that well, but just from the few interactions that we have had, you definitely seem like someone who is eager to get started.
I think that's most entrepreneurs.
Yeah, for sure. So let's back up just a little bit here because you both did chimney sweeping together. Vic, how did you get into the trades?
So for me, we had a fairly, rough upbringing. Parents weren't around, got raised by different family members. I chose to take a life more of crime. To put it in a light way, I ended up in jail. And, as most people, when they get out of jail, it's hard to find employment. And so I knew a buddy that I worked with before knew a guy that had a chimney business that would take chances on certain people that had records, that had bad backgrounds. And he referred me to him, and I went and did an interview with him. And it was named by the man named Mark Herzog out of Fremont. He's passed away now. But he took a chance on me and brought me in, and it was, because I was legit and honest about wanting to change my life. I ended up moving pretty quickly through his company up to being his main tech. And once I got to his main tech, he decided to pay for my schooling and to get me actually certified and whatnot. And so I worked with him being his main chimney tech. And I think I was with him for it was around 4 years or so 4 to 5 years that I was with him before I outgrew the company and the needs of my family outgrew the company. So that's kind of where that happened. Now, before that, for the electrical part came into it, I started going to getting my ET training to be an electrical trainee. And I made it probably halfway through the class before I ended up getting arrested. And that kind of put a kibosh on that. So it never went back. But I still have to pay my full loan off, though. So for all you people out there, if you're going to do it, finish it, because they don't care if you finish them out. They still want their money. So
thank you for sharing that about your background, Vic. And that's really kind of what we're here to talk about. And one of the things that got me so excited when I first met you guys at Pantheon, because you were really upfront about your history and about how in your work at Five or Free, you're hoping to give second chances to the right type of people. And Gil, anything you want to add? Because I know, and again, you don't have to say anything you don't want to say, but I know your background too. You kind of came from a rough background, similar one as Vic's. So can you just talk a little bit about how the trades gave you a second chance?
Yeah, so I'm still in the same shop. So every single day, there's a dumpster that's right outside my garage door at my shop. And that dumpster is a monument for me in my life, because at 18 years old, I was crying to that man, Scott Namola. I was crying to him. He seen something different in me. I was a part of a group interview trying to get into his electrical company. As we were walking out, he decided to talk to me as I was the last one there. And he asked me, like, why do I need to give you an opportunity? And I just laid it out to him, completely honest. I never grew up with my dad. I got my girlfriend at the time, who's my wife now. We just celebrated 17 years together. She's my high school sweetheart. But my girlfriend at the time, I got her pregnant, and I never really carried a real job. I was always doing things that I shouldn't have been doing that could have got me in a lot more trouble. And so I just plainly told him, these are the things that I have been doing. And I just started going to church, and I got plans to marry my wife and do it the right way. I got her pregnant, and I want to have my life changed. I was out at that dumpster just laying it out to him. And at that point, he gave me an opportunity. And so the same place that my whole career started is the same place that I walk in every single day. And I just see the smiles and the lives being changed with the people that are here on our team and working with us. There's something about the fact that monument is there. And then likewise, the brand in and of itself, Five or Free, is not mine, which just, it was necessary, because I get my big head from this guy. So no, just kidding.
Well, what you guys haven't mentioned, and what I know from the pre-interview, is you guys are also, you come from a big family. You're two of 8 siblings, I think, right?
Yes.
And Vic, you're the oldest. So yeah. It sounds like tumultuous childhood. You as the oldest child took on really that parentified figure for your younger siblings. Weird question. Don't have to answer it if this is too personal, but I love family dynamics. Vic, like, given that you really helped raise Gil, how proud are you of him that he's an entrepreneur?
Oh, I couldn't be prouder. I tell him often, I'm just thinking about how, I know the struggles that our family had. I know the struggles that we had. I mean, like his birthday's today. He's 10 years younger than me. And there's still, I still got siblings younger than him. I got siblings older than him. And to see what he's been able to do, what God's been able to do through him, it is one of the things that I don't like to put it this way, but there's no other way. I'm proud. I'm proud of what he's done. I'm proud of the man that he is. I know that my weaknesses seem to be his strengths. He inspires me as a little brother. He encourages me because I know that the general, the genetic template is there. It's just God's just blessed me with a different brain in different areas, and that God's blessed him, but he inspires me to try to access those different parts and to have a little bit of a different mindset in different areas. And then to see not only what he's done in business, but I don't know how other people look at business, but business is a tool. It's a means to an end. And while it's important, no one's really sitting there on their deathbed. Man, if only I would have made that deal 5 years ago. What they're talking about is, if only I could have been a better husband, if only I could have been a better father, if only I could have spent more time. And I've heard it from at ServiceTitan, from from the speakers and stuff. And it's just, as you get bigger and you get bigger, you realize the things that you have to sacrifice to get there. And to be able, the best thing I could say about my brother is that while we were growing, and while he's a great businessman and a great entrepreneur, he is an awesome father. He is an awesome husband. And those are the things that I'm most proud of, to see the wonderful nieces and nephews, and the great relationship that he has with a beautiful, beautiful wife that I do back in high school, when they were young, to see them grow to what they are. Those are the greatest things that I'm proud of as an older brother. So don't you start crying, Gil.
I wanted to call that out because I think part of the reason why Gil is so great, and you're great too, Vic, is because you were that grounding force for him when he was younger. I think siblings really help one another during tough times growing up. And I think that comes through in the way you two interact and the way I met you two as a duo. It comes through now in the show. And given that the trades has family businesses embedded in it, I think this is probably one of the most powerful examples I can show of how sometimes that family history really provides this almost like magic stuff that allows you to do great things. So thank you for getting vulnerable with me and for sharing a little bit about that. That was fantastic.
I don't know about Gil. I do know about Gil, but there's nothing that's really off the table for us. If you're willing to broadcast it, we're usually willing to say it. So,
well, one thing you said here, right, is one thing you said that I wanted to pull on here is, Gil, in our pre-interview, you mentioned how you want to help other people become better husbands and better fathers. Because it sounds like for you had this moment as an 18-year-old boy who, by the way, your frontal lobe wasn't developed yet. That doesn't happen until you're 25. So you're still developing, right? You got your girlfriend who you love pregnant. You're at this place where you're like, I want to be a better father than my father was to me. And I want to get into this trade to do that. And so you try to do that with the people that come onto your team, with the gentlemen on your team. So tell me a little bit about how you try to support them in their goals of becoming a better father, a better husband.
Yeah, I mean, overall, that's a teamwork between both my brother and I. I mean, he's been one as a leader for me, just always having my back in terms of, being a better husband. And maybe it may not be exactly what he experienced, but he has wisdom that he's always there and willing to give over the years. So I think our guys, they can see it. One of my guys, and he's like 50 years old. One morning, he told me he's driving away. He rolls down his window and he says, I want to be like you one day. And I said, what do you mean? And he's like, you're just so patient. You don't get easily mad. And I want to be like you. And I think just being open with, and likewise too, just our gatherings together when I do make our team gatherings, parties and stuff like that, inclusive, bring your wife, bring your kids and let them. And I also, a lot of the times will include the wives and remind the guys that if it wasn't for their wives at home, if it wasn't for their children at home through the sacrifice, then, you guys want to be able to be here. You got your great support at the home. So I think just being available, making known to them that I'm nothing special apart from the fact that in the same type of effort that I put to my work is the same type of effort that I put inside the home to ensure that, I am constantly knowing my wife, continuing to know her and get to know her along with all of my kids individually, and just being present, as much as you can, just being available to talk to them and minister to them and having an open ear and just available to give insight if they're willing to listen. So,
Yeah. It sounds like you're doing a lot of practicing what you preach, essentially. Like you are embodying and living the values that you pride yourself on, and folks are seeing it and they're looking up to you because of it. That's quite a compliment when someone older than you is like, I want to be like you someday. Vic, anything you'd like to add there in terms of this goal of like, we want to help our team become better partners, better partners, better parents?
Well, it's one of the things, just to piggyback off what he's saying, my demeanor and my constitution, the way that I'm built up more, I've always been more of a follow me type leader. I've never been more of a rah-rah. When I speak, usually I always speak when I have something to say, and I try to be really concise with my words. My brother will tell you sometimes I come off as being short or sharp. My biggest thing that I bring to what we're trying to do for the company is consistency. And the men, they see that. They see the consistency that I have with them. And they also get to see the consistency that I have with my wife and my family. And anytime we're doing events or they'll hear conversations when my wife's around, they see how we interact with each other. Everybody wants to try to emulate the things that they want to achieve, right? From when I was younger, I wanted to be Will Clark. I wanted to have the same swing, and I wanted to be a professional baseball player. And so for me, I just wanted to be somebody that they want to emulate. And when they do ask, they know that they're going to get honest truth because I don't beat around the bush with them. We're able to go out here and work, 10, 12, 14-hour days because we have amazing people at home supporting us, keeping everything down and appreciating what they do. And realizing that even when you get home, your work's not done yet. My work's not done until my kids and my wife are getting ready to go to bed, because I still have to bleed into them. I still have to be a dad. I still have to be a husband. They say that a woman's job is never done, right? You've heard that, right? That a mom's job is never done, that a woman's job is never done. Well, what makes you think that your job's done? What makes you think that your job's done? And so getting them to have the right type of mindset to go home, to be that good husband, to be that good dad. Yeah, you're tired. Your wife's tired too. She's still making sure that your kids are fed. She's still making sure your uniforms are clean. So why don't you go make sure that your kid has someone to play catch with? Why don't you go make sure that that your wife has something to look at you besides just a paycheck and some dirty clothes? And it's just emulating it. It's just living it out and doing it consistently every day, so that, because people know phonies. I'm sorry, people know phonies, especially if you're working with them every day. And everybody could put on the good show when they're in front of people and look how great our marriage is, but if it's not consistent and they see the cracks, and it doesn't really play out that way, and it doesn't really work. We want to give the best service so that people have the best experiences, so that they have the safest homes, and that they enjoy being at their house every day, because that's where they live. Well, we have the same goals as well. Why does that stop once you get off work, though? Why the whole idea of being the best stop when you're in that car ride home. No, go home and still be the best. Be the best husband you can be, the best dad you can be the best man that you can be.
I could not agree with you more. And I think that's such a wonderful message to be sharing to your team, and something that clearly you two have learned from your life experience and you are trying to spread amongst the work that you're doing in the service industry. I want to stick on second chances a bit. You guys have been giving such great answers here. In a lot of the interviews I've talked with people, we talk about folks with criminal backgrounds. We talk about this idea of second chance, putting people in the industry who may have a murky past, so to speak. My question to you guys, does everyone deserve a second chance?
I would say that yes, everybody deserves at least one second chance. I want to just be clear that me and my brother, we base everything off of biblical principles. And so the idea of second chances, while it is true, but the truth of the matter is Jesus can give me 1,000 chances and I'm going to fail 1,000 times. And so if it wasn't for what Jesus did for me, things wouldn't be where they are. But with that mindset, though, still, I believe that if a person is honest about where they're at and who they are and could see the need to actually change, then yes, I do believe that they deserve second chances. Now, if you're going to be one of those people that wants to continue in the same bad habits and the same lifestyle, make the same bad choices, while I still believe that you deserve a second chance, it's not necessarily going to be with us. And I've seen the results of it. Not only with my experience with the chili cleaning guy with Mark Herzog, where his whole thing was he only took people that were coming out of prison or coming out of jails or situations like that. I'd seen the results there, and I've seen results with us here where people that never thought they would be able to afford buying a house or sending their kids to a private school or all the different things that we all want to do with an honest chance and with real effort be able to do it. Now, that's not to say that every person we've hired has been a winner. It's just trusting the people that you're putting them with, the guys that you already got that already know the culture you want, and taking their feedback and listening to them quickly and making quick judgments on whether they're going to be a good fit for our culture. But like I said before, yes, we're growing, and yes, the revenue's coming in. I take great pride in what we're doing as a company, money-wise, but I can't tell you that my greatest prize is to see one of our field supervisors, talking with him the other day. And, I've noticed that you haven't had any issues. You haven't talked about any issues with your marriage recently. And, or so, well, I've taken, I've done this and I've done that. Or another guy that we got, that was his wife and his family are living with their parents. But, he told me recently that because of the chances that we've given them, they're about to move out and get their own house.
Oh, amazing. I'm so happy for them. I don't know them, but I'm so happy for them. For anyone who's had to move back in with their parents for a stretch of time. Yeah.
Can you imagine living with your parents, with your kids?
Yeah.
And so it is. And of course, you have the ones that weren't at the point of, second chances from ideal backgrounds, they're still getting their houses. They're driving their new trucks. They're taking their kids. And so seeing the growth of these people's lives is what makes the headaches of a upset client or chasing a bill down, or in California, dealing with the government and everything that has to go along with every county's little rules. It makes all those headaches worth it, knowing that these men's lives are being changed and their families' lives are being changed, and their children, their kids aren't going to have to go through the same things that I did, or that Gilbert did growing up, or that maybe even their parents did growing up, that they're going to have normal lives. Hopefully it collapses as hard in my tears. Okay, yeah.
Honestly, I love it. I love this type of content. And I think this kind of stuff is what people in the trades need to hear. A lot of the Tommy Mellos, the Ishmaels, the Tom Howards, they all recognize this. And I think you guys at Five and Free, this is why I wanted to talk to you so bad. You guys embody it and you live it, and you understand this. And this is one of the things I love about the trade so much. We are literally coming at the end of time, which is insane to me. I could talk to you guys for like another 5 hours. I do want to shout out, though, that you guys are pacing. We're going to hit 4 million this year, which is a 33% increase from last year. So way to freaking go. Gil, any final words that you want to shout out as we conclude this episode? And guys, I cannot thank you enough for being so vulnerable and for being so present with me and sharing your background, because I guarantee you someone who listened to this was really moved by it. So thank you. Gil, any final last words?
Yeah. So two things. One is kind of just piggybacking, trailing back from what he just said. There's two people that I've had. One was my younger brother. He was always in and out of jail. I remember when I took him on a side job, we got paid like $1,000 or something for like 3 hours. I got the check. We were driving and he just starts crying. This is probably when he was about 18 years old. Now he's early 30s. He was crying and was saying like, is it that easy? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I have to like do bad things to make that kind of money. And you're coming over here. I've never had a cut and like somebody so happy to pay me, and they're happy about it, you know? And there's another gentleman that works with us. He's my brother-in-law. There's one thing that I know happens is it's an identity change, right? There's individuals that come in, they may have thought of who they were, and they've lived their life with this mindset of all that they can be, and this is all that I am, to the point where they recreate a whole new identity. They come in here and they get to experience customers just truly liking them, to the point where they start to realize like, this is who I am. This is what I'm here for. I'm supposed to be doing this. And you know, in tears telling me over and over. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like what you did in the past is not who you are. Like you're here and you're making a huge difference. Customers love you. It's bleeding into your home. Things are changing. So that's one thing. The other thing I would say, at least just to close out, this last year, I've been really focused in on what it means to get money down to the bottom line. Tommy Mello, he says, I'm sure he's got it quoted from somebody else, but it's, you know, revenue is for vanity and profits are for sanity. This last year is like, okay, the goal is to put money to the bottom line. We want it, it's top line is good, but we want to have a good operation where we have profit at the bottom. If you have money at the bottom, that means you're making money, right? Everybody wants to make money, but the reality is being that it's at the bottom, it still should keep your mindset to stay on the bottom. Mm-hmm. Keep a servant mentality. You're still, you know, you still have that mindset of just don't get your head high. And by all means, maybe other people are not like me, but I think anybody who has the possibility of making a bunch of money could definitely ruin themselves. But it's just having a mindset beforehand to ensure that you're not necessarily going to let the money change you. Money is, again, the business is just a tool. That aspect of things is just, you know, staying on the bottom and staying humble through the success. And that's what's going to keep the good direction. I think overall with even customers are going to feel it. If you're just a pompous company out there that has no care, then, I mean, who wants to buy from a pompous company? So
exactly. I'm just so happy you shared about those people in your company who were able to see that the way they learned how to do things doesn't necessarily have to be the way they do things. And having that experience of the customers being happy to pay them, being happy to see them, how transformational that can be. Yeah. I truly think that you guys are doing incredible work. And I am so happy I got to share your story on Toolbox for the Trades, Gil and Vic. I know I'm going to see you probably at the next Pantheon, but I am going to be following your guys' story closely. I can't wait to see where 5 and Free goes. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you coming on.